Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a question. Have you ever felt like money slips through your fingers no matter how hard you work? You push. You grind. You hustle. But the bank account doesn't reflect the effort. And then, you hear about someone who spoke a few powerful words, shifted their mindset, and suddenly abundance flowed to them. It sounds almost unbelievable, right? But Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the greatest teachers of prosperity, revealed a secret. A secret that has changed thousands of lives. She said, "Your word is your wand." Think about that. Your words are not just sounds. They are commands. Commands to your mind. Commands to the universe. Commands to your finances. And today, I'm going to give you the exact words, the very ones that can unlock $100,000 faster than you ever imagined. Let me tell you a story. A young man I know worked long nights at a job he hated. He always said, "I'm broke. I can't catch a break." And guess what? He stayed broke. Opportunities passed right by him. One day, someone handed him a book by Florence Scovel Shinn. He read a single line that hit him like lightning. "I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay." At first, he thought it was silly. Too simple. But he decided to try it. Every morning before work, he repeated those words with conviction. Within weeks, his boss offered him a position in a new department. Within months, he doubled his income. And within a year, he crossed $100,000. Was it magic? Or was it the power of words aligning his mind with possibility instead of limitation? Here's the truth. Words are seeds. What you plant in your mind with words will eventually grow into your reality. If you keep saying, "Money is hard to make," you'll live in struggle. But if you declare, "Unexpected income flows to me now," you open the door for money to come from places you never imagined. It might show up as a new client, a business idea, a check in the mail, or even a chance encounter that changes everything. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that life responds to your spoken word. Not your complaints, not your doubts, but your declarations. So here are the exact words I want you to remember. White right pointing backhand index, I am aligned with abundance. Money comes to me quickly, easily, and in perfect ways. White right pointing backhand index, I give thanks for $100,000 flowing into my life, under grace and in perfect timing. Say them out loud. Feel them. Believe them. Because the moment you do, you're no longer begging for money. You're commanding it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, can words really unlock $100,000? Let me ask you this: has negativity ever blocked opportunities in your life? Has fear ever made you miss a chance? If negative words have the power to destroy, why wouldn't positive, intentional words have the power to create? Imagine you're standing at a locked door. Behind it is the $100,000 you've been praying for. You don't need more force. You don't need to bang your fists against it. You just need the right key. And that key is your words. So the question is, will you keep saying, "I'm broke, I can't do it," or will you unlock the door with "I am open to infinite wealth, and it flows to me now"? The choice is yours. Let me close with this. You don't have to wait years. You don't have to suffer endlessly. Your breakthrough can start the very moment you align your words with wealth. So speak with power. Speak with faith. And watch as $100,000 and beyond begins to flow into your life faster than you ever dreamed. Thank you. Following are the key points you will listen in this video. Your words are commands. What you speak, you attract. Negative words create blockages. Positive words unlock opportunities. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, your word is your wand. Specific affirmations can shift your mindset toward abundance. Declaring wealth opens doors for unexpected income and opportunities. The exact words you choose can become the key that unlocks $100,000 fast. When I say that your words are commands, I don't mean it lightly. Think for a moment about how you learned to walk, to read, to count. Someone spoke words into your life. Take a step. Sound it out. 1 + 1 = 2. Those words shaped your reality. Without them, you wouldn't have formed the understanding you carry today. Words are not just noise. They are seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious, and once planted, they grow into the harvest you eventually see in your life. Imagine standing in front of a fertile field. Every single day you throw out seeds with your mouth, but here's the question: are you planting weeds or are you planting fruit-bearing trees? Because weeds will grow fast and choke the life out of your dreams if you keep saying things like, "I can't afford this," or "money never stays with me." Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Your word is your wand." A wand doesn't just describe reality, it creates it. If you wave a wand and declare something, it manifests. That is the exact relationship between your words and your life. When you declare, "I am always struggling," the universe doesn't argue with you. It nods and delivers more struggle. When you affirm, "I am blessed beyond measure," your subconscious mind begins to scan for evidence that matches that statement. Suddenly you notice opportunities you overlooked before, doors that were invisible a week ago. Think of the human brain as a search engine. Type in the words "I am broke" and it will immediately begin pulling up evidence, memories, and experiences to confirm that belief. It will remind you of bills, failed attempts, and missed opportunities. But type in the words "I am wealthy and open to abundance," and the brain obeys the command. It starts highlighting moments where things did work out, where unexpected money did appear, where opportunities aligned. It's not that life suddenly changes overnight, it's that your inner perception aligns with a new reality, and perception is the filter through which everything flows. I once met a woman who struggled with her business for years. She was talented, hardworking, and deeply passionate, but she constantly told herself, "I can't find clients, nobody values my work." Those were her daily seeds. And predictably, her business stayed barren. Then she attended a workshop where she was challenged to replace her daily words with a new declaration: "The right clients are finding me now. My work is valuable and well rewarded." At first, she laughed at how artificial it felt. But she practiced. Day after day, she spoke the words even when her reality didn't reflect them. Within 3 months, she received a call from a former acquaintance who referred her to a company that needed her services. That one contract multiplied into more, and within a year her income tripled. Was it coincidence? Or was it that the moment she spoke different words, she gave her subconscious permission to notice the opportunities already around her? Words don't just shape opportunities. They shape how others respond to you. Picture 2 people walking into an interview. One walks in saying under their breath, "I hope I don't mess this up. They probably won't like me." The other whispers, "I am confident, I am prepared, and they are lucky to meet me." Which one do you think carries a magnetic presence, the kind that convinces others? It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Words spoken with conviction radiate in body language, in tone, in energy. People feel it before you even realize it. There was a young man who worked in sales who constantly complained about his terrible luck. He told his co-workers, "Customers never buy from me." And customers didn't. Until one day, frustrated, he decided to test something radical. He changed his internal script. Each morning before walking into the office, he said, "I attract buyers. Every call I make opens the door to a sale." In 2 weeks, his numbers began climbing. His approach didn't change dramatically, but his words changed his expectation, and expectation is powerful. Expectation creates confidence. Confidence inspires trust. Trust leads to results. We can even look at history. Great leaders understood the power of words as commands. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't say, "Maybe one day things will get better." He declared, "I have a dream." Winston Churchill didn't whisper, "I hope we survive." He thundered, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall never surrender." Words spoken with conviction don't just stir others, they stir reality itself. If their words could shift nations, why wouldn't yours shift your finances? Think about a parent speaking to a child. If a parent says, "You'll never amount to anything," that sentence becomes a curse. The child may carry it for years, unconsciously living it out. But if the parent says, "You are capable of greatness, you can achieve anything," the child builds a future on those words. Now, what if you became that parent to yourself? What if, every day, you whispered into your own soul, You are powerful. You are abundant. You are open to receive. Those words would not simply echo in your mind, they would rewire it. And here's something even deeper. Words don't just shape our minds, they shape our emotions. When you say, "I'm exhausted, I'm drained," your body responds. Shoulders slump, energy falls, and fatigue deepens. But if you say, "I am energized, I am focused," your physiology rises to meet those words. Athletes use this before big games. They don't walk into the stadium muttering, "We're probably going to lose." They shout affirmations, they chant, they declare victory. Why? Because words ignite emotion, and emotion fuels action. Now, I want you to imagine your financial life as a house. Every word you speak is either laying bricks of gold or bricks of stone. If you constantly say, "I'll never make it past this level," you are literally building walls around yourself, trapping yourself in a room too small for your potential. But if you say, "I am creating a life of wealth and overflow," each word adds a golden brick to a mansion that expands wider and taller with every declaration. The house you live in tomorrow is built by the words you speak today. Florence Scovel Shinn also said, "You can't voice lack and expect abundance. It's like trying to plant thorns and expecting roses. You cannot keep telling yourself stories of struggle and expect a harvest of wealth. The soil of the subconscious doesn't judge. It simply grows whatever seed is given. So if words are seeds, the question isn't whether you'll get a harvest, you always will. The question is, what kind of harvest do you want? Words are not empty affirmations. They are commands. They instruct the mind. They instruct the emotions. They instruct the very fabric of life to align with what you declare. You have been holding a wand in your hand every single day, your tongue. And whether you know it or not, you've been casting spells with it. Some spells of fear, some of doubt, and hopefully some of power. The shift happens when you become intentional, when you stop speaking defeat and start speaking abundance. Because in the end, your life will always rise or fall to the level of your words. There's something almost invisible that happens when you speak negative words. You don't notice it at first. It feels like just a harmless complaint, just an honest reflection of your situation. You tell yourself, "I'm broke. I never get lucky. Nothing ever works out for me." And in the moment, it feels like you're just describing reality. But what you're actually doing is building invisible walls around yourself. Every word becomes another brick, another layer that separates you from the flow of opportunities waiting to reach you. I once spoke with a man who had been trying to start his own business for years. He was intelligent, creative, and hardworking, yet nothing seemed to click. When I asked him what his daily thoughts were, he laughed and said, "Honestly, I probably say, 'This won't work' at least a dozen times a day." He thought he was being realistic. But here's the truth, his words were blocking him. Each time he declared failure, he shut a door before even trying to walk through it. Negative words are like locked chains around the mind. They bind you, limit your movement, and keep you tied to the very situation you wish to escape. Florence Scovel Shinn explained this beautifully when she said, "Fear and impatience cause the harvest to fail." When you constantly voice fear through your words, you aren't just expressing worry, you are commanding delay, commanding disappointment, commanding lack. Think about electricity. Imagine a powerful current flowing straight toward you, wealth, opportunity, connections, blessings, all rushing to meet you. Now imagine yourself cutting that current with scissors. That's what negative words do. They slice through the flow, interrupting the supply before it reaches you. "I can't." Snip. "It's impossible." Snip. "I'll never get ahead." Snip. By the time you're done, you've severed the very current meant to deliver your abundance. Now let's flip it. Positive words do the opposite. They don't block, they unlock. They turn on switches you didn't even know existed. Picture walking into a dark room. You stumble, you trip, you bump into things. That's the power of negative words, they keep you in the dark. But when you say, "I am open to new opportunities. Money flows to me with ease," it's like flicking on the light switch. Suddenly, you can see paths you couldn't before. The room hasn't changed, your vision has. The opportunities were always there, but positive words made them visible. I remember a young woman who had been searching for a job for months. She filled out application after application but got no callbacks. She confessed to me that every time she pressed submit, she sighed and muttered, "Well, they're not going to call me anyway." Her words created a blockade. Even if a recruiter glanced at her resume, her energy, subconsciously carried in her cover letters and interviews, repelled instead of attracted. She decided to experiment with positive declarations. Before every application, she began saying, "The right position is finding me now. I am the perfect candidate for the perfect role." Within 2 weeks, she had 3 interviews. Within 1 month, she had an offer with better pay than she had imagined. Nothing about her resume had changed, only her words. Negative words aren't just personal, they ripple outward. Imagine sitting in a meeting with someone who constantly says, "This won't work, this is too hard, we can't do it." Their energy drains the entire room. Even if solutions exist, nobody sees them clearly because the atmosphere is heavy with defeat. Now imagine someone else walking in with words like, "Let's find another way. There's always a solution. Something good is about to happen." Suddenly, the room shifts. People feel lighter, more creative, more open. Positive words create space for ideas to land. Negative words suffocate them. Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized gratitude as the antidote to blockage. She advised people to say, "I give thanks for this perfect day. Miracles follow miracles and wonders never cease." Gratitude is the most powerful positive word because it assumes the blessing is already on its way. And here's the miracle: when you speak words of gratitude before the evidence shows up, you unlock doors that were previously hidden. It's as if the universe leans in and says, "They're ready. Send more." Think of your words like keys on a giant ring. Some words lock doors. Others unlock them. When you say, "I'll never get out of debt," you've turned the key to a lock. Door closed. Opportunity walks by, unable to reach you. But when you say, "I am free from debt, money flows to me now," you've unlocked it. Door open. Opportunity walks right in. Let's go deeper. Negative words don't just block opportunities, they block people. You may not realize it, but the words you speak broadcast signals. When you constantly declare lack, you radiate desperation, and desperation repels those who could help you. But when you declare abundance, you radiate confidence. And confidence attracts mentors, investors, customers, and partners. People want to align with someone who believes in possibility, not someone drowning in defeat. I recall a story of 2 entrepreneurs. Both had the same idea, the same product, and roughly the same resources. The first told anyone who would listen, "This market is tough, investors don't care, it's nearly impossible to get funded." He struggled for years. The second one declared, "The right people believe in this idea. Funding is flowing to us now." She spoke it to herself and to others. And guess what? Investors lined up, not just because of her product, but because of her conviction. Her words unlocked their willingness to trust her. Even your body feels the impact of your words. Negative declarations block energy in your system. Say, "I'm tired, I'm drained, I'm sick of this," and your body obeys. Muscles tighten. Breathing slows. Creativity dries up. But say, "I am alive with energy, I am focused, I am capable," and suddenly your body responds. Shoulders lift, breath deepens, energy rises. Opportunities often require stamina, and your words can literally unlock the energy you need to seize them. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn urged people to be vigilant with their speech. She knew words were not neutral, they either create flow or create blockages. She told her students, "You can't afford to indulge in negative words for a single moment. Because each one matters. Each one either builds a bridge or builds a barrier." So here's the image I want you to carry. Picture a river of gold flowing toward you. Every negative word you speak is like dropping a boulder into that river. 1 boulder slows it a little. 10 boulders begin to block it. 100 boulders dam it completely. Now, picture yourself removing those boulders with positive words. Every time you say, "I am blessed. I am open. I am wealthy," another rock is lifted out of the way. Soon the river rushes freely again, carrying opportunities, connections, and wealth right to your door. The difference between being stuck and being free is often not about effort, not about intelligence, not even about timing, it's about language. Negative words bind. Positive words release. Negative words shut doors. Positive words swing them wide open. And every word you speak is either holding you back or moving you closer to the life you dream of. Florence Scovel Shinn once wrote the phrase that has echoed across generations: "Your word is your wand." When you hear that, it almost feels like something out of a fairy tale, doesn't it? A wand in your hand, glowing, sparking, able to create anything you desire. But the truth she revealed is that you already hold that wand, and you use it every single day. Not made of wood or crystal, but of flesh and bone, the tongue. And with it, you cast spells, not over distant castles, but over your own life. Think about what a wand represents in stories. A wizard points it at nothing, speaks a few words, and suddenly there is something: light, fire, transformation. That's exactly what Florence meant. Your words are not descriptions, they are creations. The moment you speak, you set energy in motion. When you declare, "I am prosperous," you are not just hoping, you are commanding the unseen to move in your favor. I once met a woman who worked as a nurse, exhausted from long shifts. Every morning she whispered, "I'm drowning, I'm stuck, I'm never going to get ahead." Those were the spells she cast. And her reality faithfully mirrored her words. Bills piled up. Opportunities stayed out of reach. It wasn't that she lacked talent or heart, it was that her wand was pointed at despair. One day, out of desperation, she came across Florence's words. She decided to experiment. The very next morning, instead of repeating her usual script, she said, "I am guided, I am protected, and my prosperity flows to me now." She felt ridiculous at first. But she kept at it, day after day. And slowly, her world shifted. A supervisor noticed her diligence and recommended her for a training program. That led to a better position, higher pay, and the chance to pursue her dream of opening a wellness clinic. What changed? Only her words, the wand she held all along. It may sound too simple, but think of how often words have shaped your own life. Remember a time when someone spoke encouragement over you? Maybe a teacher said, "You're gifted at this." That single sentence might have shaped your career path. Or maybe someone said, "You'll never make it." That curse might have echoed for years, becoming a chain you still drag around. Those moments reveal the wand in action. Words spoken with conviction plant images, beliefs, and expectations in the soul. And once planted, they grow. Florence warned that most people are careless magicians. They wave their wands without thinking. They mutter things like, "I can't afford this, I always get sick, I'm terrible with money." They don't realize that every word is a spell, every phrase a decree. Imagine someone standing in a garden, scattering seeds. They toss dandelions, thorns, and weeds, and then cry out months later, "Why aren't there roses? Why isn't there fruit?" It's not because the soil is against them. It's because the wand obeyed exactly what was spoken. Now picture a child with a toy wand, waving it with wide eyes, believing every flick creates magic. That childlike belief is what Florence urged us to reclaim. She taught that when you speak with faith, your words are alive with creative power. If you declare wealth, the forces of life rearrange themselves to bring opportunities. If you declare health, your body listens, cells respond, healing accelerates. If you declare joy, your emotions align. Not instantly, not like flipping a switch, but steadily, persistently, until the world you speak begins to match the words you cast. I remember a man who lost his job and spiraled into despair. He kept saying, "I'm finished. My career is over. Nobody wants me." And every day he repeated that incantation, life agreed with him. Doors stayed closed. But when he discovered Florence's work, he replaced those words with a new wand stroke. "I am guided to the perfect work, in the perfect way, giving perfect service, for perfect pay." He said it aloud daily, sometimes choking back doubt. But something shifted. Within weeks, he received a call from an old colleague offering him a role he never imagined, better aligned with his skills, and yes, with higher pay. His words had drawn a bridge where before there was only a wall. Why does this happen? Because words aren't just air. They carry vibration. They impress themselves on your subconscious, and your subconscious acts like fertile soil. Say failure enough times and the soil grows weeds of procrastination, fear, hesitation. Say success with belief and it grows courage, focus, and resilience. But it goes beyond psychology. Florence taught that words also send signals into the unseen, into that mysterious field of possibility where thought becomes reality. She called it under grace and in perfect ways. That phrase meant your words draw good without harm, aligning you with divine order. Imagine your words like commands typed into a computer. The universe is the processor, infinitely powerful. If you type in lack, struggle, defeat, the system runs that program. If you type wealth, health, joy, it runs that instead. The computer doesn't argue. It doesn't say, "Are you sure?" It simply executes. That's the responsibility and the danger your wand obeys whether you wave it wisely or carelessly. Florence loved to give affirmations because she knew not everyone realized what they were already commanding. She gave people new spells to replace the old curses. Instead of "I'm broke," she offered, "Unexpected income flows to me now." Instead of "I'm sick," she urged, "Divine love floods my body with health." She wasn't teaching fantasy, she was teaching alignment. She was handing people the wand they had dropped in the dirt and saying, "Use it with purpose." Now think of your own life. How many times have you spoken defeat into your future? How many times have you cut yourself down with careless words? Maybe you've said, "I'll never reach 6 figures," or "People like me don't succeed." Each time, you waved the wand and cast a spell of limitation. But what if, starting today, you chose different words? What if you declared, "I am worthy of wealth. I am a magnet for opportunity. My life unfolds in abundance and joy"? Those phrases aren't empty, they're strokes of the wand that redraw your future. There's a story of a young musician who struggled to book shows. Every rejection piled up until he started telling friends, "I guess I'm not cut out for this." His career dimmed because his wand pointed downward. Then he shifted. Each morning he declared, "The right stages are opening for me. My music makes room for me." Within months, a small cafe gave him a weekly spot. That led to a local festival, which led to a chance encounter with a producer. His career began to rise. Nothing mystical happened except this: he aimed his wand in a new direction. Your word is your wand. It always has been. The only question is, what are you creating with it? Every complaint is a spell. Every affirmation is a spell. Every casual remark, every whispered doubt, every joyful declaration, they're all spells. And when Florence Scovel Shinn wrote those 5 unforgettable words, she wasn't handing you a metaphor. She was handing you a responsibility. To speak consciously. To speak intentionally. To wield your wand with faith. Because your words are building the life you walk into tomorrow, brick by invisible brick, spell by invisible spell. There's a reason Florence Scovel Shinn insisted on using specific affirmations instead of vague wishes. She knew that the mind, like a compass, needs clear direction. If you tell a compass to point somewhere, it spins in confusion. But if you set it toward true north, it knows exactly where to go. Affirmations are the words that set your inner compass. They guide your subconscious, they align your focus, and they shift your energy toward the exact abundance you seek. Think about the difference between saying, "I want more money," and saying, "I give thanks for $100,000 flowing to me under grace, in perfect ways." The first is a wish. It's open-ended, undefined, almost timid. The second is a command. It's precise. It's filled with gratitude as if it has already happened. And that specificity makes your mind pay attention. Your subconscious begins to scan for doors that could lead to that exact outcome. I once knew a young man named David who constantly said, "I just need more money." That's all, over and over. But guess what? More is vague. If you find $1 on the street, technically you've received more money. And that's all the universe is obligated to deliver. David would get random small blessings here and there, but nothing substantial changed. Then, after reading Florence's teachings, he began declaring, "Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and in perfect ways." He didn't just speak it once, he repeated it with conviction daily. Within months, he received an unexpected business proposal from a friend that ended up earning him tens of thousands of dollars. His life shifted not because he begged for more, but because he commanded abundance with a clear affirmation. Affirmations work because they rewrite the script playing in your head. Most people are walking around rehearsing affirmations without realizing it, negative ones. I'm so unlucky. Nothing good ever happens to me. I'll never be rich. Those statements are affirmations too, but they're affirmations of limitation. Every time you repeat them, your subconscious obeys, shaping your behavior and your perception to match. Florence understood this, so she urged people to deliberately craft affirmations that aligned with abundance instead. Consider Sarah, a woman who battled illness for years. She constantly told her friends, "I'm always sick. My body just doesn't heal." Those words became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Her mind and body listened and acted accordingly. Then one day, she stumbled across Florence's affirmation, "Divine love floods my body with health." At first, she laughed. It felt foolish to declare something so opposite to her reality. But she decided to try it, whispering it to herself each morning and night. Over time, her body began to respond. Her energy improved. Her pain lessened. She began to heal. Now, was it only the affirmation? Or was it that the affirmation shifted her mindset from despair to hope, and hope triggered the body's ability to repair itself? Either way, it was the specific words she chose that began the transformation. Affirmations also work because they bypass fear. When your mind is clouded with anxiety, what if I fail? What if I lose everything? You need a shield. Affirmations become that shield. They stop the spiral of negativity and redirect your focus toward possibility. Florence often said, "Man can only be what he sees himself to be." Affirmations create that inner vision. By repeating them, you begin to see yourself differently, and once you see differently, you live differently. Let's imagine two job seekers. The first one mutters, "I probably won't get hired. They'll see I'm not qualified." The second one affirms, "The perfect position is looking for me now. I am the right person in the right place at the right time." When they both walk into interviews, who do you think radiates confidence? Who do you think the employer feels drawn to? The words spoken beforehand shape the presence carried into the room. Affirmations don't just prepare your mind, they prepare your energy. It's important to remember that specificity doesn't mean rigidity. Florence always added the phrase, "under grace and in perfect ways." Why? Because she understood that abundance may come in forms we don't expect. If you demand one exact outcome, you may miss greater blessings. But if you affirm with clarity, "I give thanks for wealth flowing to me now," under grace and in perfect ways, you set your compass toward abundance while allowing the universe to deliver it in the best possible form. I once heard about a woman who desperately wanted to sell her house. She repeated, "I can't get rid of this house, it won't sell." And of course, it sat on the market for months. Then she remembered Florence's principle and began affirming, "My house is divinely perfect and finds its right buyer quickly, easily, and in perfect timing." Within weeks, she had 3 offers, one even above her asking price. Her words shifted from blockage to flow, and the shift created results. Affirmations are not about pretending. They are about commanding. When you say, "I am wealthy," even if your bank account says otherwise, you are not lying. You are declaring the truth of what you are stepping into. You are pulling the future into the present through the wand of your words. Florence once said, "Never voice lack or limitation, for it cannot be done in the kingdom of God." She was pointing to a deeper reality that when you speak abundance, you align with the infinite supply already available. Let's visualize this. Imagine standing in front of a locked door. Behind it sits the life you dream of, $100K, freedom, joy, peace. Every negative thought is like fumbling with the wrong key. But a specific affirmation is the master key. Speak it with faith, and you hear the click, the lock releases, and the door swings open. Suddenly, what felt far away rushes toward you. This is why affirmations must be spoken aloud. Whispered words carry vibration. They leave your mouth, pass through the air, and return to your own ears, reinforcing belief. It's a loop of creation. You speak, you hear, you believe, you act, and reality shifts. Florence understood the loop and gave her students affirmations as tools, like chisels for sculpting their futures. So imagine, right now, taking one specific affirmation into your daily routine. Maybe it's, unexpected money flows to me now. Maybe it's, I am in perfect health, guided and protected. Maybe it's, the right opportunities appear for me today. Speak it with conviction every morning, every night, every time doubt tries to creep in. Watch how your thoughts change. Watch how your energy shifts. Watch how doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. Because affirmations aren't superstition. They are direction. They are commands. They are the language of abundance, spoken through your own lips. And when you choose them carefully, speak them consistently, and believe them deeply, you don't just shift your mindset, you shift your entire life toward the wealth, health, and joy that has been waiting for you all along. There is something almost magical that happens when you declare wealth, when you speak it out loud with conviction. It's as if doors that were once invisible suddenly appear in front of you. You don't have to force them open, they swing toward you, welcoming you inside. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this deeply. She knew that wealth wasn't only about money, it was about opportunities, connections, and blessings that arrived in unexpected ways. And she taught that when you declare wealth, you begin to align yourself with those very doors. I once met a man named Michael who struggled for years to grow his small business. He did everything he could think of: marketing, networking, late nights filled with planning, but nothing seemed to break through. His words were always the same: it's tough out there. Nobody wants what I offer. Money doesn't come easy. Those were the declarations he lived by, and life responded accordingly. Opportunities slipped past him, clients overlooked him, and income trickled like water from a leaking faucet. Then, almost by accident, he stumbled upon Florence's affirmation: I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. He decided to test it. Each morning he said those words aloud, even when nothing in his reality matched them. Within weeks, a customer who hadn't contacted him in years placed a large order. That led to referrals, new contracts, and within months, his income tripled. The shift didn't begin with strategy, it began with declaration. You see, when you declare wealth, you're not just speaking to the universe, you're speaking to yourself. You're giving your subconscious permission to notice what it previously ignored. Imagine walking through a crowded street. Your mind is filtering thousands of sights and sounds, only showing you what it thinks is relevant. If you've been telling yourself, I can't find opportunities, your mind will actually skip over them. But if you declare, I attract opportunities daily. Wealth flows to me now, your subconscious suddenly tunes in differently. It begins pointing out the very things you used to miss. That person you overlooked becomes a new client. That event you almost skipped turns into a partnership. That skill you dismissed becomes the tool that opens your next door. Florence often said, man can only have what he sees himself receiving. Declarations paint that vision. They shift the way you see yourself and the way the world sees you. Imagine two job candidates. One declares, I'll probably never get a good offer. The other declares, the perfect job is finding me now. Who do you think walks into the interview with light in their eyes, strength in their voice, and confidence in their presence? The employer may not know why, but they're drawn to the second person. The door opens, not because of luck, but because of the energy carried in their declaration. Declaring wealth also opens you to unexpected income, the kind that doesn't fit into your logical plans. Have you ever had money come to you in a way you didn't expect? A refund you forgot about, a bonus you didn't see coming, a gift from someone, a client who appears out of nowhere? These things don't just happen randomly. They happen because you are either open to them or closed off. When you say, I never catch a break, you slam the door shut. But when you declare, money comes to me from sources known and unknown, you swing that door wide open. Suddenly, wealth has room to enter not just through your paycheck, but through countless other channels. Let me give you another story. A woman named Carla used to joke, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. That joke became her reality. Bills piled up, her car broke down, and her hours at work got cut. Then a friend handed her Florence Scovel Shinn's book. Skeptical but desperate, she tried one affirmation: "Unexpected income flows to me now, under grace and in perfect ways." She repeated it every day, not knowing what to expect. Within 2 weeks, she received a letter in the mail, an overpayment refund from her insurance company that she didn't even realize she was owed. It wasn't millions, but it covered her car repair. Encouraged, she kept going. Soon, a neighbor recommended her for a part-time project that paid better than her regular job. Piece by piece, her situation shifted. Not by chasing, not by begging, but by declaring. The power of declaration isn't just about the words themselves, it's about the energy they release. Words are vibrations, and vibrations attract similar frequencies. When you declare lack, you emit an energy of scarcity, and scarcity is what finds you. When you declare wealth, you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, and abundance begins to gravitate toward you. It's like tuning a radio. If you keep declaring, "I'm broke," you're tuned to the channel of struggle. If you declare, "I am prosperous," you tune into the channel of opportunity. And once you're tuned in, you start to hear music you couldn't hear before. Florence loved to remind her students to add gratitude into their declarations. She would say, "Give thanks for the prosperity before it arrives." Gratitude supercharges declarations because it speaks as though the blessing is already here. If you say, "I hope I get $100,000, it sounds uncertain, weak. But if you declare, "I give thanks for $100,000 flowing into my life under grace and in perfect ways," you speak with authority, with faith. That faith is magnetic, it draws what you declare closer to you. Let's imagine this in a metaphor. Picture yourself standing in a vast hallway filled with countless doors. Behind each door is an opportunity, new income, a connection, an idea, a gift. If you stand there muttering, "Nothing good ever happens to me," the doors remain closed. But the moment you declare, "I am open to wealth and opportunities now," it's like pressing a hidden button. Suddenly, doors begin to unlock one by one. You don't need to kick them down. You simply walk through them as they open. That's the difference between striving and declaring. Striving exhausts you. Declaring positions you. And here's the beautiful part: declaring wealth doesn't just open doors for you. It often opens doors for others through you. A man once told me that after he began affirming, "I prosper in all that I do," his business not only grew but created jobs for people in his community. His declaration unlocked not only his own income but opportunities for families around him. Wealth declarations are never selfish. They ripple outward, blessing everyone they touch. So ask yourself, what doors do you want to see open? Are you declaring lack, or are you declaring abundance? Are you speaking curses, or are you speaking commands? Because every declaration is a key. Some keys lock the doors tighter. Others turn smoothly, unlocking pathways you never dreamed possible. Florence Scovel Shinn was right: when you declare wealth, you stop waiting for miracles and start commanding them. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You stop banging on closed doors and start walking through the ones that were waiting for you all along. And the moment you choose to declare, with faith and gratitude, is the moment those unexpected opportunities and streams of income begin to appear, not by chance, but by the undeniable power of your word. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize words are not just sounds, not just casual expressions that float away into the air. They are forces. They are doors. They are keys. And sometimes, it takes just one sentence, spoken with conviction, to shift an entire financial reality. The exact words you choose can mean the difference between staying stuck at the threshold of struggle and walking boldly into the room of abundance where the $100,000 you've been waiting for is already sitting, waiting to be claimed. Florence Scovel Shinn had a gift for finding those exact words. She called them spiritual passwords, because when you speak them, it's like typing in the code that unlocks the vault of abundance. She understood something most people miss. The universe doesn't respond to vague wishes or half-hearted complaints. It responds to clarity, precision, and power. When you say, "I want more money," what does that mean? $1 extra? A single coin on the sidewalk? The universe has no clear instruction. But when you speak exact words like, I give thanks for $100,000 flowing to me under grace and in perfect ways. You have declared a destination. You have turned the lock with a specific key. I once knew a woman named Julia who used to say every day, I just need a little money to get by. And life gave her exactly that, just enough to get by. Just enough to cover rent. Just enough to keep the lights on. Nothing extra, nothing free, nothing abundant. She was living the echo of her own words. Then one evening, while attending a workshop, she was challenged to speak a new declaration. With trembling voice, she said, I give thanks for $100,000 flowing to me easily, under grace, in perfect ways. It felt foreign, even impossible, but she repeated it anyway. Weeks later, she was offered a project with a payout she had never imagined, an opportunity she might have ignored before, but her mind was alert now, open to receive. Within a year, she crossed the $100,000 mark. The exact words were the switch. Think of words as coordinates on a map. If you keep saying, I'm broke, you are setting the GPS of your life toward poverty. No matter how much you wish for something else, the coordinates remain the same. But the moment you say, wealth flows to me now, I am aligned with $100,000 opportunities, you've reset the destination. Your actions, your awareness, your energy all begin steering toward that new place. And just like a GPS, the universe starts rerouting you, even if you take a wrong turn. That's why Florence insisted on specific, affirmative words. They don't just float, they direct. The beauty of exact words is how they bypass confusion. Your mind wants logic. It wants to know how, when, from where. Exact words shut down that noise and give it a clear command. Imagine standing in front of a safe. You don't need to understand the inner mechanics. You don't need to know how the tumblers fall into place. You just need the right combination. One turn too far, one digit off, and the safe stays locked. But the exact code opens it with ease. Declarations work the same way. The words you speak are the code. Say the wrong ones, the door stays shut. Say the right ones, and $100,000, sometimes faster than you thought possible, unlocks. I remember another story, about a young musician who struggled financially despite his talent. He kept saying, there's no money in music. It's all luck. And so, despite his efforts, the universe matched his words, closed doors, dead ends, rejection. Then he discovered Florence's writings. He tried one affirmation, I am paid well for my music. The perfect opportunities find me now. At first, nothing shifted. But he stayed with it, repeating it daily. Weeks later, a video he casually uploaded went viral, attracting sponsorships and offers he never thought possible. Within months, he had made more than $100,000 from performances and royalties. The words changed his posture. His posture attracted opportunity. The opportunity opened income. Sometimes people ask, isn't this just positive thinking? But it's more than that. Positive thinking is internal. It's silent hope. Exact words are external. They're spoken, heard, vibrating in the air. And vibrations carry power. Scientists know that sound waves can break glass. Florence knew that sound waves, spoken words, can break financial barriers. When you say, I can't afford it, you create a barrier. When you say, money comes to me freely and abundantly, you shatter that barrier. Picture standing in front of a massive door with $100,000 on the other side. You try to force it open with effort, long hours, stress, struggle, but it doesn't budge. Then you remember, the lock doesn't respond to force. It responds to a password. You whisper, I give thanks for $100,000 flowing to me now, under grace and in perfect ways. Suddenly, you hear the click. The door swings open. That's how it works, not because of superstition, but because words align your belief, your energy, your focus. They prepare you to walk through when the door opens. The danger lies in careless words. Many people sabotage themselves daily without realizing it. They say things like, I'll never make that much, or money is evil, or people like me can't be rich. These phrases are also keys, but they lock the door tighter. Each time you say them, you're turning the key in the wrong direction, sealing the vault shut. Florence called this idle words, words spoken without thought that still carry power. That's why exact words matter. They aren't idle. They are intentional. They unlock instead of locking. Now imagine if every morning, before the world distracted you, you declared, "I am open to wealth, $100,000 flows to me now, easily and in perfect timing." How differently would your day unfold? Instead of walking past opportunities, you'd notice them. Instead of doubting yourself, you'd step forward. Instead of shrinking back, you'd stretch out your hand. The words would guide your steps like a lighthouse cutting through fog. The truth is, $100,000 isn't hiding. It's not avoiding you. It's already here, circulating in the world, waiting for someone to align with it. Your words are the signal flare. They tell the universe, "Here I am. I'm ready." Without that signal, the money keeps flowing, but to someone else who spoke with precision. With that signal, it finds its way to you. Florence said, "Man can change his conditions by changing his words. Not by chance. Not by force. By words. The exact ones. The ones that speak life, wealth, and faith into being. The ones that act like golden keys, unlocking the vault that so many think is permanently shut. And the moment you hold that key, the moment you dare to speak it, you discover the door was never locked against you, it was only waiting for you to say the words that fit. My friends, you now hold the key. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. The exact words you speak today can rewrite the story of your finances. They can call $100,000 into your life, not with struggle, not with fear, but with faith. Your words are doors. Your words are bridges. Your words are commands. So stop saying "I can't." Stop saying "it's hard." Stop saying "maybe one day." Start declaring, "Wealth flows to me now. I give thanks for $100,000 under grace and in perfect ways." Say it when you wake up. Say it when doubt creeps in. Say it until your whole being believes it. Because every word is a seed. Every word is a key. Every word is shaping the life you are stepping into. And the question is not, will it work? The question is, will you dare to speak it? Say the words. Unlock the door. Claim the $100,000 that's waiting for you. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because the words you choose today will echo in your future forever. And remember this, your fortune is waiting, on the tip of your tongue.